evening. I'm Adrienne Arsenault.
And I'm Andrew Chang. Tonight, a Saskatchewan First Nation reveals that it has found hundreds of unmarked graves at the site of a former residential school.
All around me are unmarked graves. We know that our loved ones here, our ancestors are here.
What we know about the discovery and the search that began after the painful report from Kamloops.
Also tonight, pandemic frustration boils over.
Have some compassion, guys. Like, God damn it.
Where's their compassion for us, eh?
As the Atlantic bubble hits a roadblock.
From her bank account to her birth control, shocking details from an LA court as Britney Spears pleads for an end to her father's control.
And 5 years after doing what no Canadian has done before at the Olympics with just a month to go, Andre DeGrasse has big plans for Tokyo.
I think that I can, bring back gold for Canada.
This is The National. This country is still grappling with grief and anger in the wake of the discovery at the Kamloops residential school. Well, we have breaking news tonight of another terrible finding.
A Saskatchewan First Nation says it has found hundreds of unmarked graves at the site of another former residential school. Maryville Residential School was situated on what is now part of the Cowessess First Nation, east of Regina. It was demolished in 1999 after operating for nearly 100 years. Tonight, the Federation of Sovereign Indigenous Nations says this new discovery will be the most substantial to date in Canada. They'll be holding a virtual news conference tomorrow, along with the chief of the Cowessess First Nation, to share more details.
But tonight, let's speak with CBC's Jason Warwick, who is in Saskatoon. So, Jason, you have been speaking with the Cowessess First Nation this evening. What are you hearing?
Well, this is news that many of them expected. They were predicting news like this since the search began May 30th following the Kamloops revelations. They just didn't expect it to be so big. They're saying hundreds and hundreds of people are affected, hundreds of bodies. And the chief, Cadmus Delorme, is going to be revealing details of that in the news conference tomorrow, along with the Federation of Sovereign Indigenous Nations. But he said that everyone knew this was coming. So here's what he had to say.
We are at the Cowessess First Nation community gravesite. Years ago, this was once the Maryville Residential School gravesite. All around me are unmarked graves. We know that our loved ones here, our ancestors are here. In our truth as finding as a First Nation and the surrounding communities that have come to this residential school, this is where our truth lies.
Chief Cadmus Delorme again from the Cowessess First Nation in southern Saskatchewan. He says that they're not even done the search and they'll have more details tomorrow.
Jason, this is terrible. And when you say there will be more details tomorrow, we know there is that press conference. Do you have an instinct about the sort of details we can expect?
Well, they will have exact numbers of the number of people found, but they say this is many times greater even than the Kamloops revelations. And like I said, they're not complete. And like I said, this isn't the only search being conducted, even in that region of Saskatchewan, never mind all the searches that are taking place all across Canada. First Nations people in Saskatchewan say they've been expecting this, but the news did come as a bombshell to most of the people that I've talked to today. At Cowessess, part of the reason they don't want to give exact details at this point is because they're trying to reach every elder, every survivor, every connected family member to have grief counselors and other supports available when these people hear the news.
Well, exactly. That is precisely the point, because while sometimes we all talk about numbers, there are families attached to this. There are people there, and I'm wondering how
Yes.
the community is faring this evening.
Well, there's a feeling of resignation, but there is also a feeling of anger in this community that this cannot be tolerated and that the truth will be found, and then there needs to be justice.
All right, Jason Warwick in Saskatoon tonight. Thank you, Jason.
You're welcome.
So let's bring in now Marie Wilson, a former commissioner of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. I know in some ways these reports are just coming in, but I'm wondering what you're thinking this evening.
Well, I'm feeling like a punch in the gut for sure on an emotional level, heartbroken. My heart goes out to Chief Delorme and all the community people there, but also far beyond Cowessess, because as we know, children came from all over the place to these schools. They were not just local schools. So the impact in terms of family connections may be very far reaching, even beyond the Saskatchewan border. We don't know that yet. And there is a part of me that feels the sort of sad righteousness, I guess, Adrian, if I can put it that way, of saying, we told you this was coming. We told you in writing. We said right in our report, on the basis of the work undertaken to date, it's apparent that there are likely to be other unidentified residential grave sites across the country. That was 6.5 years ago in Volume 4 of our report. The full report, Volume 4, was devoted to this issue. So we gave fair warning, and the survivors told us on the many years leading up to our final report what they knew, what they remembered, what they had experienced. And so what I feel is the outrage of knowing that it has been told and it has not been heard or listened to, or it has been merely denied or not believed. That's a huge mix of feelings, and it leads to all kinds of places.
I completely understand that it must be terrible to realize that there are people receiving this news as a shock tonight when, you know, you and others have been screaming about it for so long. And in the course of what you learned through your work, is there anything that you can tell us about this school in particular?
Well, one thing we do know about Saskatchewan as a province is that it had, in terms of sheer numbers, the highest number of residential school students. So expecting very big numbers there, comparatively, if I might put it that way, shouldn't be a surprise. But to expect that that is the end of it, absolutely not. I mean, we had confirmed over 4,000 between those that we knew to have died in the schools, 3,200 at the time of our final report, and another 1,000 who were confirmed to have died within the first year of going home, many sent home sick. But we also estimated that those were modest numbers and that it could be easily double that number. And so we're starting to see the evidence that says what we were told was true, what we were told was known, and what we were told should have been acted on with much higher sense of urgency long before now. And that is the work that is hitting us in the face. And these are the little voices that are now resounding across the country in ways that adults have not been able to get through. The children are speaking up now, and we're beginning to listen.
Absolutely. Marie Wilson, thank you.
My honor to be here.
There is a call for nationwide solidarity tonight from the Chief of the Assembly of First Nations, Perry Bellegarde, who tweeted, "The news that hundreds of unmarked graves have been found in Cowessess First Nation is absolutely tragic, but it's not surprising. I urge all Canadians to stand with First Nations in this extremely difficult and emotional time."
The Alberta government, meanwhile, has announced $8 million in funding to research undocumented deaths at residential schools in that province.
We have a moral obligation to find them, to recover their memory, to honor those sites and their lives.
The grants will support Indigenous-led efforts to research potential burial sites and to fund commemorative work. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission estimates 6,000 children died in Canada's residential schools. And the Royal BC Museum has signed an agreement with the Sisters of St. Anne to secure access to the Catholic Order's archives. The Sisters of St. Anne ran 4 residential schools, including the Kamloops Residential School. Their archives have been housed at the Royal BC Museum since 2011, but they have not been made available to the public and are managed by the Order.
So critical point here, the National Indian Residential School Crisis Line is available if you need help. The number on your screen is staffed 24 hours a day. To the COVID-19 story now. For much of the pandemic, the Atlantic bubble has been a symbol of success, but now as cases fall, the bubble is back, with one big exception though. This was the scene on the Trans-Canada Highway earlier today, a blockade at the border between New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. Protesters were angry after Nova Scotia's last-minute decision insisting travelers from New Brunswick must self-isolate. Well, tonight, that blockade is now over and traffic is starting to move again. Shayna Luck walks us through the anger that spurred it on and the real impact it had at the border.
Have some fucking passion, guys. Like, God, it.
Where's their compassion for us, eh?
Tensions are high in this disorganized blockade. Although the message is about reunion, this might be the wrong kind of welcome to Nova Scotia. The protests are pinching closed the only road.
The expectation is open it up to the Atlantic bubble like we were told. Until then, we sit.
The protests closed the Trans-Canada for more than 24 hours, but tonight, police moved the protesters off the highway. The blockade stopped hospital staff from getting to work, forcing more than 100 cancelled appointments. Vital medical supplies were also caught in the jam. The Nova Scotia Premier called for it to end.
I think it's reckless.
A week ago, New Brunswick opened to the rest of the country to anyone with 1 dose of vaccine. In response, Nova Scotia said it would require different lengths of isolation based on New Brunswickers' vaccination status. Those rules won't apply to people coming from PEI and Newfoundland, which haven't fully opened to Canada yet. But Premier Ian Rankin is asking for patience.
Dr. Strang and the public health team asked for another week. I think we have a duty to ensure that safety is the #1 priority.
New Brunswick's Premier Blaine Higgs is offering to share more information about incoming travelers if Nova Scotia drops the quarantine requirements.
And certainly we can share that information, and they can enforce their own rules in their own province. But it doesn't mean you need to impact the Atlantic region as a whole.
In Halifax, the Provincial Hotel Association says it's already feeling the impact. Some hotels seeing 50% of their bookings for this weekend cancel.
There's tons of goods and services coming back and forth for our hotels and restaurants, and we don't need any more roadblocks for our businesses to operate.
Some are willing to be patient. This man's been separated from his New Brunswick family for 18 months. Despite that, he's in favor of the Nova Scotia Premier's call.
He made the tough but ultimately right choice.
Premier Ian Rankin says he's considering New Brunswick's proposal, but he won't rush the public health decision, and he believes a deal between the provinces can be reached soon. Shayna Luck, CBC News, Halifax.
Now, Canadians across the country are seeing more freedoms as case numbers drop. 1 year ago, we were on a downward trend, about 350 cases per day. That was before the sharp spike in the fall and that brutal third wave in the spring. But a combination of public health measures and, of course, the vaccine rollout has driven the numbers way down. Yesterday, Canada reported only 627 new infections, the lowest it's been since last September. For much of the country, the COVID picture is looking more hopeful than ever. And in Manitoba, a loosening of restrictions today. Cameron McIntosh charts the path of reopenings across the country.
The phone just won't stop.
Thank you for calling Hair Bruja. Mariana speaking.
Finally able to reopen this weekend at limited capacity, hairstylist Marina Panatis is already booked through the summer.
I think the sooner I can start working, the better, so that things can just start moving along and just feel more of a normalcy again.
Today is that ray of hope.
Manitoba, the latest to announce gradual reductions to restrictions as vaccination targets are met. CBC News has learned tomorrow Ontario will announce its move to Step 2 next week. Earlier than expected, but not early enough for Dave Auger.
We're way overdue to open. And it's frustrating that we're being handcuffed.
Next Monday, all regions of Quebec will turn green.
Quebec's premier dangling a carrot, lifting mask restrictions in groups of vaccinated people. One more win, vaccinated Habs fans could ditch their masks for the finals. No, it's not the full reopenings planned in Saskatchewan and Alberta. Still,
in all things considered, it is certainly reasonable to loosen restrictions at this point.
This epidemiologist says the country is trending towards containing COVID by fall for good. But
the thing that's really going to decide if we end up with option A or option B is going to be how far and wide we're able to vaccinate people.
In Winnipeg, an example of the challenge. That lineup for walk-ins lasted 2 days, mostly second doses. But demand for first shots is drying up at 70%. So, more urgent.
Vaccines are the best way out of this pandemic.
Now, in many cases, what you're actually able to do may depend on your vaccination status. Manitoba is one province where the government concedes that may not be fair, but isn't apologizing. Cameron McIntosh, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Yukon is trending in the other direction, though. Late this evening, the government announced another person has died from COVID-19. There are now 103 active cases in a place where the total during this pandemic is in the low 200s. The territory now has Canada's highest infection rate, but also the highest vaccination rate. Juanita Taylor explains.
Put it through the end right there.
Summer has finally arrived in Yukon, and that has Megan Breen's 3 children excited for camp.
It's like all they ever talk about.
But the recent outbreak of COVID-19 in Yukon has this Whitehorse mom worried.
You know, my son's like, am I going to catch COVID today? So it's a little heartbreaking.
The outbreak started in Whitehorse. In just 10 days, fueled by the Gamma variant first identified in Brazil, it has now spread to most Yukon communities. The territory's top doctor says all it took was one infected person at a house party.
I think people forgot really about all of the public health measures that we had in place. This feeling that as summer comes, the pandemic is over.
Some rural communities in Yukon are seeing COVID-19 for the first time. Unvaccinated people make up a majority of active cases, ranging from 1 to 90 years old. Many are children.
We're putting all the gears into controlling the outbreak through case identification, isolation of contacts, widespread testing.
All this when Yukon is leading the country in vaccination rates. More than 70% of the eligible population in Yukon is fully vaccinated.
The new variants that are emerging are more highly transmissible. The case numbers were highly controlled before, but it just takes a small outbreak to lead to much higher case numbers.
Trust me.
As for Megan Breen, it all feels like deja vu.
I'm just worried that we're going to go into another lockdown. It's just not knowing is really, concerning.
Health officials point out it could be worse. There have been only 5 hospitalizations tied to the outbreak. Most people's symptoms have been mild, and the surge in cases has also seen an uptake in people getting the vaccine. Juanita Taylor, CBC News, Yellowknife.
And we have more breaking news tonight on the forensic examination into Ukraine International Airlines Flight 752 that was shot down by Iran last year. All 176 passengers were killed, including 138 people who were Canadian or had ties to Canada. Their families have been anxiously awaiting this report, and CBC News has viewed a copy. Ashley Burke has the exclusive details from Ottawa. Ashley, what can you tell us?
Well, Andrew, families believe that a branch of the military intentionally shot down the plane, but the results of this 8-month-long forensic examination reveals Canada does not have its own evidence proving the downing was premeditated. However, this report says that in no way does that absolve Iran of its responsibility for the death of 176 people. Canada's forensic team found that a series of acts and omissions by both Iran's civil and military authorities caused a dangerous situation where previously identified risks were underestimated and not taken seriously. And in doing so, it created conditions where an operator could launch missiles at a commercial plane.
Okay, so what does this mean then for what Canada does next?
Well, using this report, the federal government could decide what sanctions, if any, it will impose on Iran. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau wrote a message to families in the report that says the report demonstrates that Iran's official accounts of events is disingenuous, misleading, and superficial, and intentionally ignores the key factors. The downing cannot be conveniently blamed on a few junior personnel. Senior regime officials made the decisions that led to this tragedy, and the world must not allow them to hide with impunity behind a handful of low-ranking scapegoats. He added the government will pursue all available options against Iran, including taking the case to the International Court of Justice in The Hague.
Okay, Ashley, thanks for the update.
Thank you.
Now, the House of Commons is rising today for the summer break, but the rhetoric coming out of Ottawa is anything but relaxed. In fact, it sounds a lot like the beginning of an election campaign. And as Rafi Boudjikanian explains, the campaign talking points are already coming into focus.
Conservatives will do whatever we can to replace the corrupt government.
Almost like everyone here knew this was not just the House rising for the summer, but that they may have to fight to return to the job at all.
Canadians deserve accountability, transparency, and ethics. That is what they will get from a Conservative government.
Canadians want politicians to be focused on them, on their needs, and that's what we've done every step of the way.
This Prime Minister has often said he's got the backs of Canadians. It's not having their backs to cut the help they need while we are still in this pandemic.
In a caucus speech that could well have been an election rally, the official opposition leader drew battle lines.
4 parties on the left, the Liberals, the NDP, the Greens, and the Bloc Québécois, give the illusion of choice. It's an agenda of 4 shades of red.
That political divide, just about the only thing he and Justin Trudeau seem to agree on.
I hope that parties that call themselves progressive, like the Bloc and the NDP, will work with us. The Conservative Party is still doing everything they can to block this very important work.
But though opinion polls have shown the Liberals leading since the start of the pandemic, some warn there's a danger in pulling a trigger too soon.
If this Delta variant starts to spread rapidly, as we've seen in some parts of Ontario, for example, I think there would be some hesitation on the part of anyone who's responsible to want to call an election at that time.
MPs are officially scheduled to return in September. Yet, despite 20 months of this parliament collaborating to pass legislation, Justin Trudeau's recent rhetoric calling the House a place of toxicity and obstructionism suggests he's got his eyes on 3 sets of figures: COVID-19 cases, vaccination rates, and his own numbers. Rafi Bujikanian, CBC News, Ottawa.
Our chief political correspondent, Rosie Barton, joins us now. So, Rosie, walk us through this. How do we end up in an election then?
Well, listen, a couple of pretty big caveats. Nothing's been decided. Given the pandemic, things could obviously change. The priority is still to get Canadians fully vaccinated and move on. But as Rafi mentioned, the Prime Minister's always claimed that if it becomes too difficult to govern, that would be a reason to go to the people. In this case, he claims everyone is impeding his ability to govern, even the progressive parties who have supported his legislation time and again. This is a minority government. Things are not supposed to be easy, and the government itself has had some trouble getting its legislation going. C10, the digital update to the Broadcasting Act, is a good example. It was slow going because of how the government managed it, not the opposition parties. That said, there's another argument the Prime Minister is talking more about, and that is post-pandemic, the country needs to decide what's the priority, what needs to be improved, the direction of the country overall, and that could be a more compelling debate to have as a country and to decide who leads the recovery. And you can see Erin O'Toole today starting to make that case for the Conservative Party, trying to lump all the progressive parties into one basket and reduce the choices for Canadians down to 2.
Okay, so that is a long list of considerations, but there are probably a lot more.
Yeah, there's a risk when it comes to elections for the governing party, Adrian. Obviously, the Liberals want to get more. They want a majority. That's not a given at this stage, given the polling situation. There are provincial elections on the horizon they would need to avoid. There's a small window where they can potentially benefit from the vaccination campaign. A Conservative leader is still not super well known in the country and untested. So you can see how the political gamble for an election starts to make some sense for the Liberals. It's also worth pointing out the minority government typically only lasts 18 to 24 months, and we are coming up on that deadline.
Indeed we are. All right, Chief Political Correspondent Rosie Barton in Ottawa. Thanks, Rosie.
Thanks.
We are just a month away from the Olympics, and without family, friends, and most fans, Canadian athletes are preparing for a very different kind of games.
It just brought out the best of me, so definitely, yeah, that's something I'm really gonna miss this time around.
Coming up, my conversation with the 3-time Olympic medalist as he goes for gold. Plus,
Britney Spears delivers explosive testimony in a bid to end the conservatorship that has controlled her money since 2008.
We're back in 2. Welcome back. We are just a month away from the start of the Olympic Games in Tokyo, and the anticipation is building. But of course, these pandemic games are going to be unlike any other for the fans or the competitors. Renee Filipponi shows us what Canadian athletes will be up against.
Take your marks.
The games start in a month, but because of the pandemic delays, many athletes are still competing for their ticket to Tokyo. The Canadian swim trials this week paint a picture of what the games will look like.
Mom and Dad are certainly happy with that.
Family cheering on athletes virtually, with limited spectators in the stands.
We're used to it. We'll be able to be there when it counts and do our best, even though we won't have that crowd there cheering us on.
Concerns over COVID have led to a ban on foreign fans in Tokyo. For domestic spectators, the venues will have a 50% capacity limit, and they will be a lot quieter. Today, organizers announced shouting and whistling will be off limits. Clapping will be the only way to cheer. Already, there is a COVID case linked to the games. A member of the Ugandan team tested positive on arrival in Tokyo.
That shows that the system is working, like with the tests before you leave your country and as you arrive.
No question, McBean and Heddle, the heavy favorites here. And
Marnie McBean is a three-time Olympic gold medalist and the chef de mission for Tokyo. She says the protocols are unprecedented.
We will be staying inside our Olympic environments, our accommodation, our venues. And, I've sort of said it's going to be a little bit like a hamster or a gerbil warren.
But the logistics aren't top of mind for athletes busy training.
I really just have to make sure that I'm rested and happy and ready to go.
Oh, there it is. Was Harry scored?
Jessica Klimkate is a judo medal hopeful after winning gold at the World Championships. She is just happy to head to her first Olympics, despite the circumstances.
At the end of the day, I'm going there as an athlete because I take this very seriously.
Win or lose, these will be a games like none other. Renee Filipponi, CBC News, Vancouver.
Now, those named to Canada's women's soccer team got the calls today, and there is one moment of joy we just have to show you.
All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Yeah!
That first 10 seconds of composure was really something. That's keeper Kaylin Sheridan, her teammates from American club Gotham FC recording that magic moment. She was also with Team Canada in Rio in 2016. Christine Sinclair will be the team's captain, and these will be her fourth Olympics. Can we re-cue the video? I just want to watch the video again and again. Okay, it's prom season for high school students. Another muted one amid the pandemic, but one Regina teen has a pretty unique way of approaching it.
If we shorten this here, does this make her legs look longer? If we lengthen this here, does it make her waist look longer?
A vintage dress with deep family roots. But first.
That's something that I have a weakness in, and yeah, a lot of people know it. It's good that the fans see it as well.
Sprinter Andre de Grasse is going for gold. My conversation with the Olympic medalist next. Enjoy yourself. Welcome back. Well, it is starting to feel real now. As we've been talking about, we are 1 month away from the opening ceremony of the Tokyo Games. The highest profile event of the Summer Games is almost always the 100 meters, a track dominated for years by the great Usain Bolt. But it is Canadian Andre de Grasse's turn now. He's been busy writing a children's book, raising a family, and of course, training for gold. Few Canadian athletes heading to Tokyo are as well known. Few have so many global expectations piling on. A college kid who showed promise on the track turned star sprinter. Then in Rio de Janeiro, Andre de Grasse came home with 3 medals from 3 sprint events, including the marquee 100 meters. No Canadian has ever done that before. Time changes everything. From a few years of punishing injuries that brought him down, now he seems happier than ever. He's 26. He's a dad in a growing family. And training sometimes involves everyone now. His mom, Beverly, has been staying with his family, helping out before he heads to Tokyo. And as much as he'll miss them, he knows he's going to work. He wants the one medal he's yet to wear, Olympic gold. We caught up with Andre de Grasse at his home in Florida. All right, so I just read your book. It didn't take me very long, I confess. It's great, you know, it's great talking about running and why you love it. And I started to count how many times in this book you talk about what it is like to hear the roar of the crowd. All right, so at one point you say, I look around the stadium, I feel all the people watching and cheering me on. I see Canadian flags waving. It's not happening, right? Like, this is not going to happen this time. What do you get from the energy of a crowd when you race?
Yeah, it just brings out the best of me, and it's definitely been a huge adjustment this year for me. Without having, you know, Canadian fans or just even fans in general. So that's been the toughest part for me to try to conquer, I guess, in that sense. But definitely, yeah, for my book, that's definitely one of the things that I would look forward to all the time. I remember that experience from, you know, whether it was in Rio or even at a World Championship or even competing at home for the Pan American Games. All those memories, it just brought out the best of me. So definitely, yeah, that's something I'm really gonna miss this time around.
So different circumstances in Tokyo. Are we going to see a different Andre de Grasse, though? I mean, how different are you?
I feel like I'll be more prepared this time. I feel like I'm better, I'm stronger. I've gotten a lot better with knowing how to take care of my body, whether that's, you know, nutrition, hydration, making sure that I'm on top of things. Getting more sleep, all those things come into play as I've gotten older. So definitely my mental state has gotten better. I know how to handle those things when it comes to injuries, and I think that's going to really help me to my advantage to, you know, when I get to the line in Tokyo, because you know, there's always these things that pop up randomly, and you have to know how to take care of it.
A few weeks ago, when we all heard Naomi Osaka talk about she wasn't going to do media at the French Open because she wanted to protect her mental health, it was a bit of a rough go for her. What went through you when you heard that?
Yeah, I just know the feeling. I know what, you know, as athletes, I think a lot of people don't understand that what we go through. Our main focus is our career and our job, you know, to perform, but there's other things that we go through along the way that can take away from that, our performance. And other people might not understand, you know, from the outside looking in.
What sort of things get in the way for you?
You know, people see the fame and people see the fortune and they see all those things that, you know, oh wow, like if I was in their position, you know, that would be so much easier, but they don't see all the other things that, you know, we have to deal with, whether it's, you know, going through media, what people are saying about us, how we feel about ourselves as an individual. Like the hardest part for me was trying to tell myself that I would be okay from injury, because, you know, you'd always hear the negativity, like, oh, he's done, he's not, you know, he's never going to be the same, he's not going to come back to be at his, you know, at his best. This is it for Andre de Grasse. Just negative things, and that really takes a toll on the athlete, even though we don't, you know, tell people. You don't hear people talking about that a lot, right? So for me, I just have to tell myself, and, you know, that I guess everything is going to be okay.
Can you explain something to me as a viewer? I mean, I'm sure people have told you this, but it's very stressful to watch you race helplessly from the stands, because in the beginning, it really looks like you see the backs of a lot of people. And so as a spectator, your heart stops for a moment and think, what's he doing? And then there is this surge. Can you break it down for me in those 9-ish seconds? What's happening with you?
Yeah, I definitely been trying to work on my first 30 meters of the race. That's something that I have a weakness in, and yeah, a lot of people know it. It's good that the fans see it as well. Even though some people love it, they always tell me like, oh man, I love when you just come from behind and win the race. But my intention is to hopefully be in the race from the start, and and hopefully just pass people along the way. So yeah, I mean, every day I feel like I'm getting better at it, but it just kind of just takes time, and I just have to continue to be patient.
And when you give people a lift and something to be excited about this summer, not that long from now, and they're sitting at home, not in a stadium, but they're sitting at home watching you, what is it that you want them to have in their minds when they watch you lining up in the starting blocks?
Yeah, I just want them, everyone to be cheering for me. I think that I can, bring back gold for Canada. It's been a long, long time since, of course, Donovan in '96. So it's been about 25 years. So I'm just trying to be that first Canadian since then to just try to, bring home some hardware and create history again. I'm hoping to, get a lot of messages on social media and those type of things, because obviously there will be no fans. Those are the greatest things for me, and that's going to give me a big boost towards Tokyo.
No, fantastic. Have fun.
Yeah.
Enjoy yourself. We'll see you in Tokyo.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I love that. That's such a great chat. And going back to the start, I love that he wrote a children's book. I mean, he's really all in, right, on being a dad.
Oh, totally. He had a baby boy just about a month ago. He has a little girl, a toddler, who's just old enough to know dad runs and dad is really fast, which is very important. And I think it's settling in a little bit that he's going to be away from them for a while. That part's going to be hard.
Big couple of weeks coming up. Okay, still to come, remembering past wrongs in the U.S. South. A bridge in Tennessee that some refuse to cross, and how some are marking the horrific events from a century ago. Welcome back. With more horrors of Canada's residential schools coming to light, a lesson now on reckoning with anti-Black racism from the U.S. South. That's where a memorial is being built, and a barbaric crime on a bridge is being revisited more than a century after it happened. Paul Hunter has the story, but a warning: it contains language and imagery that is disturbing.
Spanning the divide in Chattanooga, Tennessee, the Walnut Street Bridge is postcard perfect. A place to stroll in the sunshine and enjoy the warm southern breeze. It is also a place of a savage, near unspeakable atrocity.
Sometimes you can sort of feel the eerie ghost of the past when you know the story.
Eric Atkins took us to the place where 115 years ago on this spot, a black man named Ed Johnson, who'd been wrongly convicted of rape in a sham trial, was pulled from a prison cell, marched down to that bridge, and then lynched.
And this is where we believe they would have brought Ed Johnson when he was taken out of the county jail.
Somewhere here.
Somewhere in here.
And they shot at him.
Oh yeah, they shot at him mercilessly. Even when he was on the ground, he was shot several dozen times. They wanted to make sure that the job they set out to do was finished.
The Chattanooga Times headlined his last words. "God bless you all," he said. "I'm innocent." Shot even as he was hanged, a bullet broke the rope. He fell to the ground still breathing. As the Times put it, he was then shot to death by a mob like a dog. There was outrage at the time, and though it took decades, Johnson's conviction was later overturned. But as with so many of America's more than 4,000 documented lynchings, for many, his murder kind of faded from memory. Now, his story is being retold.
This is where the statues will be?
This is where they will be, 3 of them.
This summer, in the very shadow of the bridge where he was killed, this almost finished memorial to Johnson and his 2 black lawyers will be open for all to come learn the story and consider America's lingering racial divide. Atkins is one of the volunteers behind the project.
Hopefully with this memorial, people can have a changed heart. We can have a changed heart to treat people the way that you want to be treated. We can have an open heart to where we all are free and we all have rights and we all can advance the way that the country is supposed to advance.
Indeed, lost on no one is that stories like Johnson's, black Americans killed unjustly, continue in this country, as does rage, with reason to still use that word in desperate, pleading protest. Working with Atkins at that bridge is Donovan Brown.
We could have simply forgotten Ed Johnson and went on our way, but in a society where we do honor, where we do memorial.
He underlines, more than a century after Johnson's death, his story is instructive and vital.
Ed Johnson is still communicating to us, and we are doing our best to listen to him in the time where there's a reckoning happening both within the city of Chattanooga, within our county, and certainly within the country.
He lives.
He does.
And here's something else about that bridge. To this day in Chattanooga, there remain black Americans who stay away from it, who never forgot. And they still see other reminders, lessons are needed.
It started from this era.
Greg Beck, who indeed will not step foot on that bridge, brought us here to one of those Confederate statues you hear about, still in place in the U.S. South. This one's in Chattanooga, not far from where Johnson was hanged and shot.
Is it trying to say the South will return, or what is it trying to say? It continues to say to us, you are marginal.
Beck sees the Johnson Memorial as a step forward, but only a step. Alongside that bridge, it urges the value of learning from America's past.
I want people to understand when they walk by there that there is a power somewhere that's trying to do some things as far as justice is concerned. This is something that that poor man went through that nobody else should have to go through.
As the memorial nears completion, a once neglected cemetery on the other side of Chattanooga is also in the midst of renewal. Look carefully, and you'll find a name that now resonates again in this city. Ed Johnson, not forgotten. One voice in America's continuing reckoning on race. Undenied. Paul Hunter, CBC News, Chattanooga, Tennessee.
We'll be right back. Welcome back. Today, for the first time, Britney Spears spoke out against the legal arrangement that controls nearly every aspect of her life. In an explosive statement in an LA court, the star asked a judge to end her conservatorship. Eli Glasner has the shocking details.
I am fine. I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life.
Until recently, this was the face Britney Spears presented to the public.
I'm in transition in my life, and I'm enjoying myself.
Today, as fans gathered outside a court in Los Angeles,
end conservatorship abuse! End conservatorship abuse!
Inside, Britney Spears dropped the act and asked for the conservatorship to end. Speaking on video, she said, "It's a lie. I thought that if I said enough, I may become happy. because I may have been in denial. I've been in shock. I've been traumatized. But now I'm telling the truth, okay? I'm not happy. Spears has been fighting against the conservatorship, which are typically created for people who can't make decisions for themselves, for years. It began after a series of public breakdowns. Since then, her father, Jamie Spears, has controlled her affairs, business, medical, and personal. But the musician had kept working.
Typically, you have a person who isn't out there earning money when you have a conservatorship or guardianship because there's somebody who isn't fit to go out in the world and earn a living.
Today, the former pop princess said she's tired of being threatened and forced to attend therapy, and described the extreme control the conservatorship has over major life choices.
She actually wants to get married, she wants to have another baby, but she has not been given permission to remove her birth control, which seems like a really core tenet of like feminism, right? That you can have your reproductive freedom. So that I found really jarring.
As for her father, his lawyer told the court he's sorry to hear she's suffering.
I feel that there's a conflict of interest. I mean, she's paying for the lawyers on both sides. And, they have a vested interest in keeping her under the conservatorship.
While today Spears had her say, the judge says ending the arrangement will require more paperwork and hearings to come. Eli Glaster, CBC News, Toronto.
Okay, up next, one dress worn 5 decades later.
The minute we saw it, we're like, I don't know how we're going to do it, but let's do it.
How a girl in Regina took her grandmother's gown and made it prom ready this century. Next in our moment. Well, Lauren Hodgins first saw this dress in the back of her mother's closet when she was young. It was her grandmother's, and after her grandma passed away, Lauren wanted to do something with it. So, what better occasion than graduation? Took a little tweaking, but the 50-year-old gown is now her perfect prom dress, and the story behind it is our moment.
Hi, how are you?
Grandpa actually had a lot of dresses made for my grandma, and she wore it back in the 60s. It was really important to just reuse this dress. We weren't sure if we were going to have a prom originally, so knowing that I could do this and keep the dress, it's always been so special, and I always thought it was just beautiful. I'm about 5'11", 6 foot with heels especially, and my grandma only went up to about my shoulder height. So we had to add on the bottom while kind of lengthening the top a bit as well.
Well, Lauren brought in a sketch, and we stuck to it exactly the way she wanted to it. The minute we saw it, we're like, I don't know how we're going to do it, but let's do it. She wanted to keep the flavor from the era and the flavor of the actual dress. I don't want to say easy because it's difficult to get the fit, because I wanted to see this dress continue on. It's also really fun to give somebody a dress that they really have imagined and designed themselves.
It's gorgeous. I don't think it could get any better.
You just gotta learn how to walk with it.
And she's really determined. It seems the first time her mom said, why don't you try this on? Just have a look. It was, she was 12 years old, and it seemed to lock in her brain, and she's like, I will wear this one day.
Yeah, and you know, Lauren's grandma passed away in 2018, but she knew of her plan to wear this to graduation, so this is going to be truly special. That's The National for this June 23rd. Have a great night.
Good night.